Hey, what's up? It's Stephen A. Williams, president and founder of the creditrepairshop.com. In this video, I want to talk about this 1099 OID tax fraud scheme or scam, or uh, everybody's talking about this is a way that you can get your money that's already under your Social Security number refunded to you through the federal government. And when I came across this years ago, I had made a video, and people criticized me about it. And I wanted to just make another update video because I guess with the YouTube algorithm, the 1099, well, probably because of my videos with the 1099-C cancellation of debt, I started getting a lot of notifications that maybe you're interested in watching this video on 1099 A or 1099 OID. And this is just wanted to let you know that people are going to jail for this. Yes, some people maybe have gotten away with it, but it is, from my understanding, totally illegal. And what these individuals are doing is that they're defrauding the IRS by turning in these forms to, in essence, say that they're getting, they want to get money returned to them. But the basis, this is the basis on this whole thing. The basis on this whole thing is that there are people out there that are telling people, and I don't want to get into the back and forth about it if our social security number is an account number and all of that stuff. I'm not going to even get into that water. I'm not jumping into that long, deep water, that well. I'm just going to tell you the facts of what's happening to people. And then you can make your decisions based on that. Or you could just, come to your, see if you agree with me or disagree. That it's not up to me to make you agree with me. So it says here the latest participant in a well-known fraudulent tax scheme will spend 18 months in prison for 4 counts of filing fraudulent tax returns, announced acting U.S. Attorney Annette L. Haynes. Uh, Charles Scott Brown. You want to know something that's crazy? You see how they say Charles Scott Brown in one of the 1099 videos that I watched. It said that if you use all caps for someone's name, that it's actually considered an account. That if you did it like they had Annette L. Haynes, that it would be considered public citizen. But when you have Charles Scott Brown, the way that it's all in caps, that states that it's like a business. I'm just saying what they said. Uh, so it says 54 of what is that? Camas, Washington was sentenced last week in order to pay more than 1.2 million in restitution to the IRS. At the same sentence hearing, the judge, this is a huge tax theft, not a nickel and dime deal. This is a serious, serious offense. I don't know how someone can do this and not expect to go to jail, to get jail time. So let's see here. Let's get into what it's about, how they're doing this. So it says here between December 2007 to February 2008, Brown submitted 4 fraudulent tax returns claiming he was owed more than 1.2 million in tax refunds. When the refund checks came in, Brown used the money for travel to Mexico, Hawaii, shopping spree at Nordstrom. Nordstrom is one of my favorite stores. Zappos.com. Remember, that the guy that founded Zappos, uh, I don't know, or he was part of Zappos. He actually died in a fire in his home. And then luxury hotel stays, and expensive dinners out. The IRS criminal investigations, our top priority is protecting the integrity of our nation's tax system, said Special Agent in charge Terry Alexander. Together with the Department of Justice, we have a long history of identifying and prosecuting those who promote and abuse abusive tax schemes. The 1099 OID scheme that was used by the defendant and other senators in the district is particularly troublesome. These individuals not only evade their legal tax obligation, they took their fraud a step further and attempted to blatantly steal money from the U.S. Treasury. Our special agents are dedicated to ensuring that tax laws are administered fairly under the law. When unscrupulous individuals such as the defendants seek to take advantage of tax tax-paying public, we will be there to bring them to justice. So here are some more examples, and we're going to go into more about how these people are doing this stuff. But these were some other individuals that ended up getting time. They had 6 million tax laws, 9 years in prison, 12 years in prison, 6 years, $360,000 with this individual, 1 year, 18 months, and these were the amounts. So I'm gonna get into what this is all about. What is that? What are these people actually doing? So now what I've done is I did my uh, research on this, and what this all comes down to, like like you say, well, Steve, what's the bottom line? How are these individuals either interpreting laws a certain way, or like how are they even attempting to do this? This is directly from the U.S. Treasury Department of the IRS, and they're saying that the way that this whole scheme is even put together is by people believing in what's called a redemption claim. And so here's the background of it, and this is directly from the Treasury Department. It says individuals or businesses that are opposed that oppose the federal tax laws sometimes use frivolous tax arguments to enrich themselves or evade paying taxes. Um, and this is the crazy part about it is that at least on the videos that I've watched, is that the individuals are claiming that this is money that they already had. Like this is their money that is in the treasury under their social security number, and they're just getting their own money. Like they're saying that when a bank goes to get a loan, or you go to get a loan from a bank, the bank is actually going and using your social security number and getting the money from the treasury, that they're not actually loaning you the money. So these individuals are that this is what I've heard from them saying that, uh, at least in some of the videos that I've seen. And so sorry about that. My tech phone was going on. So in one sense, they're saying that they're filing to get money back because they don't believe that they should be paying any taxes on that money because they're sovereign. And then on the other hand, they're saying that this is their money that's already there. So individuals or businesses that oppose the federal tax sometimes use frivolous tax arguments to enrich themselves or evade paying taxes. Generally, a frivolous tax argument is based on a frivolous or incorrect interpretation of the federal tax laws. Individuals and businesses use these incorrect interpretations to support their claims that they are not subject to federal tax laws. For example, an individual may claim that he or she is not required to file a tax return or pay income tax because the federal income tax system is voluntary. These arguments can be used to obstruct the Internal Revenue Service in carrying out the administration of federal tax laws. Uh, Internal Revenue Bulletin Notice 2010-33 issued on April 26, 2010 lists the 50 frivolous tax arguments identified by the IRS to date. We're gonna get to that in a second. One of these 50 tax arguments is the frivolous redemption claim. A frivolous redemption claim involves the filing of a tax return reporting false income, other or miscellaneous income, and claiming excessive false tax income withholdings, which, boy, these people are crazy on this one. Uh, this one doesn't actually involve some of these other ones, but we'll go into this one, see what they got to say on it. The IRS defines frivolous, excessive withholding and withholding as withholding. I don't know what this is. Oh, reported income. Individuals filing tax returns with a frivolous redemption claim reported income and did not calculate any tax due or claimed a refund of the excessive withholding. Some of the returns have Form 1099 OID, original issue discount, Form 1096. And it has your annual summary of transmittal of U.S. information returns or other false financial instruments included. However, recently taxpayers have increasingly used other financial forms and other information returns such as 1099-C miscellaneous income to file frivolous redemption claims. The IRS relies on employee manual review of paper file tax returns and correspondence, as well as electronic filters to identify individuals and business filings that may contain a frivolous argument. The employees who identify these types of tax returns or correspondence work in the IRS receipt and control data transcription, code and edit, accounts management, collection, and examinations function. These employees are provided internal guidelines that detail how identifying and process with frivolous arguments. Well, so that's what's going on with those. So basically, what I've kind of put together is what individuals are doing with these here is that they're filing a 1099 miscellaneous form, 1099 miscellaneous income, and then they're coming back around and filing the other form, and they're hoping that the IRS won't catch them. So now we're going to go take a look at the 10 tax arguments that people are using. All right, this is straight from the IRS.gov website, and it has here the truth about frivolous tax arguments 2014 is what they had here. So the first one that they had was the tax filing of a tax is voluntary. So that was their number one on there, and then payment of federal tax is voluntary. And these are all lawsuits and stuff people lost, so, it's not just where they're just stating it. They actually took people to court and people got arrested and put in jail over it. Number three, taxpayers can reduce their federal income tax liability by filing a zero return. Some taxpayers attempt to reduce their federal tax liability by filing a tax return that reports no income and no tax liability. Know about that? Let's go to number four. IRS must prepare federal tax returns for a person who fails to file. Proponents of this argument contend that Section 6020B obligates the IRS to prepare and sign under penalty of perjury a federal tax return for a person who does not file. Who, Thus, those who subscribe to the contention claim that they are not required to file an income tax themselves. Here's some case law that says you do. Number 5, compliance with an administrative summons issued by the IRS is voluntary. Let's see. Go down. These are all case laws. All case laws. Foreign tax income. All case. Let's get down here. Here's another one. Military retirement does not constitute income. That's not true. I was in the military and they tax my income. Some case law about that also. I'm getting lost in here. The only employees subject to federal income tax are employees of the federal government. Well, it looks like what they got is underneath some they have additions to them. Taxpayers do not have to file returns or provide financial information because of protection against self-incrimination. And I'll put this link also on there. Compel compliance with the federal income tax law is a form of servitude in violation of the 13th Amendment. The federal income tax laws are unconstitutional because the 16th Amendment to the United States Constitution was not properly ratified. The 16th Amendment does not authorize a direct non-appropriation federal income tax on United States citizens. More lawsuits, you can look those up. Internal Revenue Service is not an agency of the United States. Taxpayers are not required to file income tax returns because the instructions and regulations associated with the Form 1040 does not display a OMB control number as required by the Paperwork Reduction Act. These are like people trying to get technicalities, I guess. African Americans can claim a special tax credit as reparations for slavery and oppressive. All right, let's keep going down. Let's look at some more here. Taxpayers are entitled to a refund of the Social Security taxes paid over their lifetime. An untaxing package or trust provides a way for legally and permanently avoiding the obligation to file federal taxes, tax returns, and pay federal taxes. A corporation sole can be established and used for the purposes of avoiding federal income taxes. Taxpayers who did not purchase and use fuel for an off-highway business can claim the fuel tax credit. A Form 1099 OID can be used as a debt payment option or a form of a proportion financial instrument may be used to obtain money from the Treasury. This is where we're talking about how people are saying that they can get money from the Treasury because your Social Security number is the is a bank account. And here's more details about it. Advocates of this contentious encourage individuals to use a Form 1099 OID original issue discount or a bogus financial instrument such as a bonded promissory note as what purports to be a debt payment method for credit cards or mortgage debt. This scheme has evolved somewhat from earlier frivolous positions under which a secret bank account, sometimes referred to as a straw man account, was supported was supposedly created at the Treasury Department for each U.S. citizen that individuals could use to pay tax, non-tax debt, and claim withholding credits. Those who put forth this theory often argue that the proper way to redeem or draw on the account is use some form of made-up financial instrument. This has frequently involved what looks like a drawn check on the United States Treasury or other similar paper instrument, bond, promissory note. Most recently, the redemption theory asserted that persons can draw on the secret or straw man Treasury account by sending a Form 1099 OID to a creditor, and the creditor can present the form to the Treasury Department and receive full payment of the debt. The proponents appear to assert that the Form 1099 OID permits them to access their secret Treasury account for an amount equal to the face amount of the Form 1099 OID in the form of a tax refund. Proponents of the theory argue that they have sold or transferred their debt or obligation to a person to whom they had issued the Form 1099 OID in a transaction subject to 1271 through 1275, and that the debt or obligation is transferred with a discount of the full face amount. The issuer of the Form 1099 OID then treats the face amount of the Form 1099 OID as other income on the individual's return. The other income amount, however, is not included in the taxable income. Persons asserting this theory often significantly overstate withholding and claim an excessive refund in the amount closed or identified to the inflated withholding. The law, as instructed to the Form 1099 OID, indicates the purposes of the form is to report the original issue discount of holder of OID obligations, like certain certificates of deposit, time deposit, bonds, indebtedness, bonus, savings plans, and the Treasury inflation and index security having a term of more than 1 year. OID is simple the excess of the stated redemption of the deposit, bond, or other financial obligation at maturity over its issue price. Under Section 1272, OID is taxable as interest over the life of the obligation and must be included in the holder's gross income each taxable year that the obligation is held. Certain obligations are accepted, included United States savings bonds and short-term, less than 1 year, and tax-exempt obligations. Boy, this is like getting. No wonder people have problems with this, is because it's so complicated to read. So as that said, further says that the Form 1099 OID is no way a financial instrument and is not a legitimate method of payment for any public or private debt. They should have said that way at the top. And it states here with the Court of Appeals some stuff where people had lost. Boy, this stuff could be hard to read. So let's see here. Invalid of the assessment. A tax assessment is invalid because the taxpayer did not get a copy of the Form 23C. Form 23C is not personally signed by the Secretary of State or a form other than, excuse me, 10, Form 23C is not valid record of assessment. Here's another one. A tax assessment is invalid because the assessment was made from a substitute for return prepared pursuant to Section 66020B, which is not a valid return. Another one here, a statutory notice of deficiency is invalid because it was signed by the Secretary of State or was not signed by the Secretary of State or by someone with delegate authority. Another one, statutory notice of deficiency is invalid because the taxpayer did not file an income tax return. Seems like people would be setting themselves up on that one. Notice of federal tax lien is invalid because it is unsigned or not signed by the Secretary of State, Secretary of Treasury, or because IRS employees lack the delegate authority to file a notice of a federal tax lien. So these were some of them. I'm going to put the link here so you can, if you want to comb through it yourself. But what I say, and I know it's going to be a lot of hate videos or comments after this is posted, but I wanted to let you know about it. Uh, these interpretations, and I'm all for understanding how things can be interpreted because this is the way uh, that we can win because of technicalities. This is something that's done with credit uh, reporting every day. So I'm not against that. What I'm against is if the interpretation does not have an end of the line, then and it's getting people put in jail, uh, that's not something good to do. Just like I'm against filing false ID theft claims to get things removed off the people's credit reports. Uh, you know, that's a way that people have been doing credit repair, and I'm against that. And I'm against people filing false 1099 OID forms to try to get to get either money back or to try to claim that they're paying off debt using that. All right, I'm going to put the link below here. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you post your questions and comments. I'm interested in hearing the comments on this one. Also, if you need help with your credit, please visit us at thecreditrepairshop.com. Watch the video, What Makes Us Different. If you need your credit reports and scores, remember everything starts there. Go to the website the3scores.com and grab those 3 credit reports and those scores. Make sure that you grab my 3-pack of letters, the statute of limitations letter or the time bar debt letter, which means that they're trying to come after you for debt that's past the legal statute of limitations to collect in your state. You can see that listed my website on my blog. Type in statute of limitations. You'll see in column 1 is for debts or for loans that are like automobile or personal loans or regular loans. And column 4 is for credit cards, types of debts where you can charge and then pay down and recharge. So check those statute of limitations. I also provide you with my cease and desist collection activities letter where you can use that to stop debt collectors when they send you that first introductory letter to say that they either purchased a debt or they're trying to attempt to collect a debt. And then I give you a debt validation letter that you can use to go back and forth with them to make them prove everything about the debt before you uh, potentially could come to a resolution of doing a debt settlement. All right, thank you for your time. This is Stephen A. Williams, President and founder of the CreditRepairShop.com.